Since 2002, the Tonnequint Park Nature Center garden has served as a visual reference of all kinds of plants and native grasses that can be grown in this area using very little water.
So we're trying to show people what will work here. But the other thing is we're using some what we call xeriscape principles. One of those is that we're minimizing the lawn. So we're not using very much lawn. The other thing what we're doing is we're trying to use shade trees in place of grass because they offer the advantage of the shade, which is cooling in its effect because it keeps the sun from hitting the ground, absorbing a lot of that moisture, evaporating it quickly, and it does keep us cooler.
Because drought has been a big issue here over the past several years, Washington County Commissioners passed an ordinance on May 11th asking citizens of the county and cities to join in conserving water. Encouraged by the Washington County Water Conservancy District, the new ordinance asked that watering only occur between the hours of 8 p.m. and 10 a.m.
We live in a desert, and our water supply is something that we need to guard and take care of. And so we are encouraging all of our cities to pass time of day ordinances.
That guideline, which is, again, watering from 8 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock the next morning, those are all good times. If you do get a very wet period, very humid period, monsoonal rains, for example, you may want to not water that early evening period. Wait and start your watering in the very early morning.
While similar ordinances will more than likely be adopted by municipalities, it does not apply to agriculture or golf courses, which use secondary water.
This does not apply to agriculture, and there's a good reason why. Because within our secondary water systems, they don't have the capacity for storage.
The water that the golf courses irrigate with, and a lot of the water that the agricultural fields are using, is not fit for consumption. So it's water that either would take a lot of money to clean it up or it can't be cleaned up so that we could drink it anyway.
Because of our hot, dry climate, Washington County is the only county in Utah that has increased its water irrigation frequency schedule to 3 times a week. Due to our desert soil, the Washington County Water Conservancy District recommends a watering schedule on those watering days of 3 cycles of 4 minutes, 1 hour apart. This allows the soil, which oftentimes has a lot of sand and clay-like silt, to absorb the moisture and eliminates excessive runoff. Those watering with spigot-type sprinklers or rotators with no control systems can water a little longer. It's recommended to monitor and adjust as needed. It's also recommended you use a drip system for bedding plants.
Some of these plants may have only 1 or 2 emitters. Some may have 3. The larger plants may have up to 4. But the same way with our trees, sometimes we'll even have just a tubing with a ring that goes around the tree and drippers in that tubing. And then that's set to come on like on a once-a-week cycle.
Heffelbauer suggests a quick test to see if you are laying enough water down by using a tool like a screwdriver.
What I want is I want to see the first 1 to 2 inches dry, but once I get past there, then I want to begin to pick up some moisture. And the only way you really know that is to use a probe or something where you can push down in, pull it back up and see, is that soil moist down beyond 1 inch or so depth. So that's 2 times to check. One is right after you've watered to see if you really got the water down, and the next one is right before you water. So it can be dry on top, but we want to see some moisture still down deep for those roots.
Keeping grass aerated and properly fertilized will also help with proper moisture content. Xeriscape is also a style of landscape design requiring little or no irrigation and is used in arid regions.
In this garden there's a number of different types of grasses. There's Mexican feathergrass here. There's a number of different types of sages. One in front of us here is autumn sage. All of these are beautiful in the spring. They come out, they bloom beautifully. Then they kind of go into dormancy a lot of times in midsummer heat. So we really don't have to water them very much once they get past the bloom period. Junipers, for example, are one of the most water conserving. You can have a large area of junipers and put 1 or 2 emitters in there, and they give it enough water if turned on only once or at the most twice a week, and you can supply enough water to grow an entire hedge with junipers.
Commissioners are asking that people be thoughtful in their landscape, including the type of plants and use of water.
One thing that is common and across the nation wherever a drought exists, that somebody says, well, I'm just going to let my lawn die, or I'm going to let my, I'll replace my lawn with something else, different kind of landscape. But if they shut off their water completely to their lawn and they have trees in that lawn, that the tree will die also. So it's imperative that they figure out some alternative watering system.
We're trying to get everyone to be more aware of watering as much as needed, but not overwatering. We're also trying to get people to think about it in terms of doing this as a community instead of one neighborhood or an individual, but as a whole community, a whole county.
We're encouraging our municipalities to engage with their citizens in a way that really helps this time of day ordinance sink in and encourages people to participate.
The key is to not give the plants, trees, or grass more water than they actually need. For more information, you can follow the seasonal watering guide on the Washington County Water Conservancy District's website. You can find other helpful tips as well. In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.